What's up, agents? Jetforth here, and here is the updated version of my cluster seeker mine skill build with BTSU gloves that will allow you to get into the millions of damage per cluster ball pretty easily. Now, hitting that 1 million damage like this is actually rather consistent. This is one playthrough that I actually just edited the crap out of for time restraints and whatnot, and there was actually other instances that I just cut it out because you couldn't see the number very clear. Now, if you're finessing the build and watching your talents when they're activating, how they're proccing and whatnot, you can hit 1.35 million damage. Like you see here, kind of, the numbers are kind of jumbled, but there's 3 hits in there at 1.3 million damage. The highest number that I have seen come out of this so far was 1.4 million, which is on screen. There is definitely some capping going on here, because if you add up all the percentages of skill damage and whatnot on this build, technically we should be over 2 million. So there is some definite capping going on. And the same thing goes for the turret. The turret should actually be hitting for 69,000, and it's only hitting, I think, sometimes peaking at like 56,000. So something's being capped somewhere, doing something. Maybe it's the skill damage at 130%, 135%, 120%. I don't know exactly, but there is capping going on here, most definitely. Now, at this point, I'm sure you're asking yourself, Jet, why did you just show footage of you hitting only at 700,000 damage on his Seeker? It's because I don't want to be a silly little stupid poop tuber who says that you're gonna do nothing but hit over for 1 million. You're not. You gotta make sure, like I said, you're finessing the build, who, what, where, when, and why you're activating your talents, how you're activating them, when to activate them, and all that stuff, you know? So I just want to be pretty clear about that. If you're working the build, it's going to do the work for you. If you're just slinging Seekers out, hoping for the best, it's not going to happen. It's a skill build. It takes dem skills, my friend. And that's it. Let's get into the build. For our specialization, we will obviously be going with the Demolitionist for the plus 25% explosive damage and our 100% damage mod for the turret. You can go with the mortar turret here. It's up to you. I just like the regular old turret. That's what suits my playing style. And also the mortar activates energy infusion on the BTSU gloves. In case you didn't know, I was told many a times that it does. But still, I prefer the regular old turret. And onto the weapons, which we are going to kind of breeze through this because I've already put this in like 5 videos. Perpetuation. Kills grant plus 5% skill duration, ammo, and charges to the next skill used. Max stack is 10. And recharge. While equipped, skills deployed at full armor have plus 25% duration, charges, and ammo. Basically, we are just using these 2 talents to add extra mines to our clusters. So if you don't have either of these going and no extra plus 3 mines or however that works out, you're only going to throw out 3. And with recharged, you get 4. And for perpetuation, the way that I use that is at the end of like the little encounters that we have, I'll go in and clean up with my weapon, and then that way that adds extra stacks to the next encounter when I first throw out my Seekers. But you do have to be careful with the turret because your turret can eat that up. So you're going to want to throw your Seekers out, then throw your turret down. Again, finesse the build. Skills, skilly, McSkillerton. Scuba thief! Next up, we have our secondary weapon, which I went with a sniper, same one as all the other videos, with Spike. Headshot kills grant plus 35% skill damage for 20 seconds, pretty straightforward, and rooted. While equipped and in cover, all skill damage and healing is increased by 25% for 10 seconds. Buff is lost when exiting cover. Can occur once per 60 seconds. Again, both of these are pretty straightforward, but what's not straightforward about it is how you actually see them working in game. So I will show you because there was a lot of confusion in the comments about these 2 talents. This is rooted, so you can see as soon as I hit cover, you see the little square up top, kind of crosshairs looking deal, pop up on the screen, and then it's also in my tree. That is rooted working. Again, once you leave cover, that goes away, so you have to stay in cover. Best way to use this is chuck your Seekers or chuck your turret down or whatever you're using, then go into cover. So they're already out by the time it is activated because it disappears in 10 seconds. As for Spike, you gotta be zoomed in to see the cooldown. I don't know why. It should be in the bottom skill tree. Seriously, massive Ubisoft, get on it, because that's pretty dumb, honestly. And finally, for the sidearm, we're just looking at in rhythm. While equipped, enemy kills have a 5% chance to refresh active skill cooldowns, can occur once every 60 seconds. For any of these equipped or holster talents, you don't actually have to have the weapon like equipped or using it. They just work when they're on your character, so don't worry about that. It is fine. And in rhythm's good. So you throw out Seekers, you can get your Seekers back. You throw out your turret will get your Seekers back, so on and so forth. This is the Demolitionist's Sidearm. I do have other ones. I honestly have no idea where it is because I grinded out 2 complete new characters and my entire inventory is a mess right now, so is what it is. You just want in rhythm. On to armor. Let's start with the mask. This is a Providence defense mask, plus 10% skill power, plus 300 skill power, a plus 11% skill haste, and plus 20% explosive damage. I will save all the swapping in and out of parts for the end. For now, this is the piece that works for my build. For the chest piece, we are using the same Heliguard that we were before with the plus 5% total armor attributes, a plus 21,873 armor, plus 14,802 health, and plus 419 skill power, which could be way higher, and if it was, I could do some other things with this build, but hey, is what it is. And then Talent's Destructive, plus 20% explosive damage. The main reason for using the Gila chest piece is for armor. We want armor. If it wasn't for this, we would be dipping under 200,000 armor, and our health would go way down as well, so I don't want to be quite as squishy as I am, but with this, it is a lot better than it would normally be with another piece. On to the holster, which is in Araldi Holdings for the plus 10% accuracy attributes, plus 665 skill power, and plus 20% explosive damage. Now I know before I had a DH here, and the reasoning for swapping out and wanting this was for the plus 10% accuracy. Now I am very well aware that with a DH you can get another utility slot, but in all honesty, with all the weird capping that's going on, until we actually like figure that out, or Reddit does, I'm not really missing that little extra 10% with the BTSU gloves. I'm fine with 110% as opposed to 120%. So that's just what I think about it. That's my own personal opinion. Again, you can go with whatever you want here. I prefer the extra 10% accuracy, especially if you're going to do like an LMG as opposed to like using the P416 I have, or whatever you have that matches out the talents, yada yada. Yakety schmackety. I got a snorkel, guys. I can breathe underwater. Onto the backpack, which is an Alps Summit Armament, which is an Element Outdoors rucksack. You want to remember that because this is basically a god roll backpack. It doesn't have the highest of stats on it, but getting an Element Outdoors rucksack with 2 yellow attributes on it is a pretty big deal because this also comes with 2 utility mod slots, so it's very important and will probably be your vein of existence in trying to get this build together. I'm sure you can work around it, but yeah, I'll shut up. So with the Alps Summit, it gives you plus 20% skill haste, attributes plus 424 skill power, plus 19% skill haste. Then for the talents, we have tech support, kills by active skills grant plus 25% skill damage for 10 seconds. This is generally always going between the turret and the seekers. And then destructive, plus 20% explosive damage again. On to the BTSU gloves, which is the main part of this build, which honestly I'm just going to skim through because honestly I already made a 15-minute video explaining the crap out of these things. Elemental gadgetry, skills that apply status effect gain plus 50% status effect duration and plus 50% skill haste. Energy infusion, whenever you apply a status effect, your gloves become infused with that effect for 60 seconds. While infused, you gain plus 10% skill damage, plus 10% skill healing and repair, and plus 10% skill duration for each yellow you have. Applying the same status effect while infused does not refresh the infusion. But what I did learn in my previous video that I put up, which if you really want to know a lot more about these, you know, wink wink nudge nudge, is say that you infused yourself with a shock damage, and say you have incendiary rounds in your sidearm and you shoot them with said incendiary rounds, that will refresh it mid whatever refreshing on its cooldown or while it's counting down. So you can finagle it a little bit. I don't know if you're probably not supposed to be able to do that, but you can. And then we have a charged proxies. Whenever you throw a skill 1.25 seconds after landing, it creates an explosion, applying the infuse status effect to all enemies within 6 meters. Pretty self-explanatory. Do not blow yourself up with this like I like to do. Mainly putting my turret next to me. Enemies affected by the infuse status effect take 50% more damage from your skills. Now this alone is what is allowing me to hit 1.4 million damage. 1.35, 1.4 million damage is this part of it. So basically what this boils down to is a seeker placement, if you will. So if you chuck your seekers at them and make sure that blows up on them with the status effect, you're getting another 50% damage from your skills, which is going to basically blow them to smithereens. Now, it does not actually have to be just from your skills blowing up on them. Say it's how I run my build, where I generally just try and find the ammo boxes that give you elemental damage. So even if you shoot them with an incendiary round, it still counts. So as long as they're counting down and have the little flame above their head, the icon, and you hit them with your seeker, that counts as them being infused. But even without that, you can still hit a million. You're not going to hit 1.4 million or 1.35 million, but you're going to be in the millions. But this is what is absolutely devastating them. And it is now 1 o'clock in the morning, and this video is sucking my will to live. Onto the knee pads. We are using China Light Industries Corporation for the plus 10% explosive damage attributes, plus 22% skill haste, talent, destructive, plus 20% explosive damage. Pretty straightforward, very simple. And like I said way towards the beginning of the video when I was talking about the mask, about swapping in and out, the knee pads and the mask are swappable. You can do Providence Defense or you can do China Light. They are both interchangeable, if you will. Now for the Providence Defense mask, I do and still want to have one red and one yellow on it so I can put damage to elites for my weapon and just extra damage to elites. Even when you're hitting at the 1.4 million mark, it's super great, but weapon-wise, I would like to have that damage to elites there. But then again, with that, it's the whole 11 utility, and honestly, even though I said I don't want 12 to get the 120% and I'm comfortable with just the 11, it's just, you know, you gotta mess around with the build a little bit. And this build in by no means is mid-maxed. A lot of this stuff is very, very feasible stuff to get. I am just barely making my 3,000 skill power for my seekers, and I'm over just 2,600 for my turret. And one of the main things with skill power that I've been seeing people saying like, oh, I've got 4,995 skill power. You don't need that. The max cap for skill power is 3,000. All you got to do with skill power is try to make sure that you're able to use your best of the best mods that you have. That's the only thing. Having 4,500 skill power isn't adding anything extra to your build. If anything, it's taking away because you don't need to have 4,000 skill power. I haven't seen any mods that go over that. Skill power does absolutely nothing other than allow you to use certain mods. So don't start going after that 4,500 skill power, because then you're literally just wasting spaces and you could put other stuff in your build other than wasting it on skill power. Like, I don't want to sound like a jerk about it or mean or anything. It's just, that's the reality of it. You only need to hit 3,000 skill power. I have not seen any mods over that. And again, that's the only thing that we need skill power for, is to allow our mods to activate. That's really it. So yeah, not saying, just saying. And yeah, agents, that's it for the build, really. I mean, I don't got much else. This is, like I said, this is an update to a previous build that I did, I think like 2 weeks ago. It was pre-TU5, so you can go through that build. That build itself without the BTSU gloves was hitting for over 1 million, so it definitely did what I said it was doing, and it made it through the update. This is just updated with BTSU gloves, a little bit of the changes that I wanted to do, and it's allowing me to hit even higher than I was before. So hopefully all of this makes sense to you, and if you have any questions, obviously just leave them in the comment section down below. I will do my best to answer them. I'm sure we have such an amazing community going on here with skill builders and stuff. I know all of the commenters and subscribers you guys all help everybody else and answer questions for me to where I'm like, yeah, what he said. So love you guys for that. That's amazing. I will put all of the pictures of this on my Discord again with the other one. I gotta figure it out to actually make a build section instead of just putting builds. So there's like segments in there for each of the builds that I do, but I will put the pictures up and separate them out and get all that figured out so you can see this on there. I did put a picture up of my raid build on the little comments section for YouTube, which I'm not gonna do a build for that. I probably should because clicks and views, but when it comes into DPS builds and stuff like that, I honestly do not like dealing with parts of the community. I'm not gonna lie, I don't. So I will put that up picture wise on Discord as well, but I'm probably not gonna do a build video for that just because I don't want to deal with, oh, you're a liar, the 2.6 million. I just don't want to deal with that crap. I really don't. If you guys want to ask me, I know most of all you guys know my PlayStation stuff and the people I talk to on Discord. I'll explain it to you guys there. Probably just gonna back away from that on the YouTube side of it because I don't want to deal with the shenanigans that comes along with DPS unbreakable builds. I just don't. But if you could leave a comment and let me know what you guys think about all this, subscribe, hit the old like button because Scuba Dave loves like buttons and all that other junk. And I will catch you all on the flip side. Peace! And I really need to stop doing hand gestures when you can't see me in the video, so I stop hitting my microphone. Ding, 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 ding. Peace!